What nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's hashtag anime nerdigin review is going to be for Berserk 2017, episode 12, aka episode 24, titled City of Humans. And this is the season finale of Berserk 2017. And oh my god, this was kind of a letdown because I was hoping we were going to go back to the Kushkaran chapters that were skipped, but I got a feeling we might get to do that next season. If they do that next season, I will be totally stoked. Anyway, the rest of the chapter that was covered, basically chapter 243, was completely skipped, and we just went to straight into chapter 244. And like Sugumomo's season finale, a lot of detail and lore was skipped, and it really pissed me off. Like this part, right? Sepiko, when he's saying the great knights of the Tudor Empire and Kingdom of Baldin, from the east the royal knights of the duchies of Morgar and Wallatoria, the army of the newly established Randall Commonwealth, under the Paneria Alliance, the army of Lana, and mercenary groups of Ferris, Nice, and Vertanis, and various others. And Isidoro is supposed to ask, how do you know that? And then Farnese says, because Sepiko was a herald of arms. He has every coat of arms of national and royal troops memorized. It's the fact that we're not learning about the different knights and stuff like that that really bothers me, because that's what was supposed to happen. And then let me get, here we go. Where are you? Shit. Evalera was supposed to say the noise split in my ears, and Guts says, what's wrong? Because, like, all this stuff was skipped before, you know, the Sharik got questioned by the guards. But, and Guts says, what's wrong? And Sharik says, nothing. And Evalera says, like, thunder. And then Sharik says, it's just so barbaric. And Evalera then says, boys sure do love this stuff. And Isidoro says, yeah, it gets the blood going. And Puck is like in riot rage mode. And Isidoro asks, hey, which army's the strongest? And again, this was all cut out. And this part in particular, like, as much as the other stuff, I'm so disappointed that was skipped. This part I was really disappointed was skipped as well, because it gave us more information about the world. So Sepiko goes on to say this. With Midland's forces practically decimated, it might be Tudor's regular army, though we cannot agree with their sense of style. No other nation can put that number of heavily equipped knight brigades into active duty. When it comes to equipment, the Baldin army is on par with Tudor, but that kingdom is currently dealing with a peasant insurrection, so it must not be able to spare many soldiers for this conflict. And then he continues on to say, hold on a second. Randall only in recent years won independence from Baldin. It was originally a settlement where criminals were sent to reclaim it from wetlands, so it is of an aggressive national character, and it could be said to want to demonstrate a firm sense of presence amongst the nations of the Holy See via this conflict. While Morgar and Wallatoria are small, they are located further east of the Holy See nations, so they are veterans who have many times crossed swords with the Kushan. And though the countries of Paneria are in alliance, they were still quite recently a group of city-states that continue to engage in skirmishes all around the Dominion. So unlike nations with domains, with the exception of Lana, they have no standing armies, but hire mercenary bands for each conflict. And Isidoro says, you're incredible. You weren't just some servant. And something that really pissed me off is that there was no knowledge King Puck or Knight Puck throughout this too. Like we didn't have any of this. This was all completely skipped. And then Sepiko goes on to say, I was just a servant. I would not presume to deny that amongst you all. And Isidoro says, awesome. And then they're in the land, and this part was skipped, was awesome. It's like Soldier Land. And this is talking about Vertanis, and this is what Sepiko says about Vertanis. Again, more lore skipped. Vertanis flourished as a leading trade city within the Holy See territory in the first place, but now the entire city has become a canteen. And Sharik says, the crowd is bothering me. There are so many smells mixed together. I feel ill. And Farnese, you know, because Farnese is asking, are you all right? And like Puck is in like this little city outfit, like Serious City Boy, it says in the manga. And this was skipped too. That's the problem with bumpkins. If you ain't serious, they'll mess with you. But when there's this many people swarming, and like then Puck starts messing with humans, and after that, like Bernice is like, why does that seem familiar? And Eva Lara's like, ha, this is fun. And Puck's the stealth mode. Now this part here that was skipped really bothered me. Like I feel like this should have been in the next season, and what they should have ended with, like, was with last episode, and what they should have done the episode before that was the Kushin chapters that were skipped. That would have made more sense to me. It would have been way cooler to end with what we had last week than end with this episode. This should have been the start of next season, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. And then we see the band of Dawnfang here, and the recruiter is saying, "Hark, brethren, gathered for the holy war. If you've confidence in your skills, come ride with us. We are the band of Dawnfang. As you know, gentlemen, our deeds include going unbeaten in the Randall War of Independence, as well as defeating a Baldwin Heavy Knight Brigade." And Isidiro's like, "Who are those flashy guys?" And Puck says, "Street performers." And then Guts goes on to explain, he's a recruitment barker. That's how mercenary bands enlist troops. And like, I really wish this part was there in particular, because it's kind of a reminder. Guts was a mercenary. He's been a mercenary for all of his life, or for a majority of his life. But anyway, and Isidoro says the leader does this himself, and then Guts goes on to say, to choose a mercenary band, you look at the leader first. Does he look dependable? Does he look wealthy? Most important is whether he gets on well with the soldiers. That one looks high and mighty. Mercenaries aren't patriots or champions of some great cause. It's all about earning enough to eat, which is definitely true. Strength is the rule for a mercenary band, but first you gotta see if the boss is on your side or the employer's. And then Sepiko goes on to say, and go figure, Sepiko knows this stuff too, is indeed, to mercenaries, wars is just business. It is usually the case that they are driven from their homes by war and too destitute to subsist fighting because they must. So it makes sense that a commander who values his men even above victory is more welcome than that a great one who wins at the cost of their lives. And then Guts says, your life is on the line either way. The real question is whether you want to risk it for your comrades or be just another pawn. And Puck says, so they should just be strong with a charismatic leader everyone likes. And Isidoro says, if you're a man, you get ahead by your own skills. And then this part by Sepiko, I was so surprised. Again, I was surprised this whole scene was skipped because of this part right here in particular that was skipped, which was when Sepiko says, oh, I recall one with charisma, Sir Griffith. The mercenaries he led were the Band of the Hawk. In the 100-Year War between Midland and Chutter, he never lost to his Chutter opponents. He was a legendary mercenary leader who, after the Band of the Hawk became part of Midland's regular army, brought about the surrender of the impregnable stronghold of Dolfrey, defeated the Holy Purple Rhino Knights, and said to be the mightiest in Chutter's army, and finally led to the conclusion of the war. And Farnese is thinking, that name, I've heard Guts say it at some point. And Isidoro says this, and I don't understand why this part is skipped. This part being skipped really pissed me off too, was when Isidoro was supposed to say this. I know that one. Every man does. Anyway, it's no exaggeration to say it was thanks to hearing that I decided to go down this road. We didn't have this part here, and then there's this too. Yeah, the Griffith dude was incredible, but the Band of the Hawks Raiders captain, aka Guts, that's who it is. That guy was wicked strong. I mean, he cut down something like 1,000 opponents. They say he took down those Primo Rhino guys single-handedly. But ironically, it can be said that the discord between Sir Griffith and the king was the cause of the fate Midland faces today. A big rise and a big fall. It's so cool. It's like, why did you not have this? Okay, and then let's get to this part here. Farnese asks, oh hey, didn't you used to be a mercenary, Guts? And Isidoro says, what group were you with? And Guts was like, it was a long time ago. I've forgotten. And Isidira says, Rumper has it. Not Rumper, sorry. Rumor has it the Hawks were later destroyed by the king's scheming, but also some say they remain in Midland and are fighting the Kushan. And I think that's why they didn't have this scene, is because they didn't show that shit. They didn't, which was should have been last episode, and this episode should have been about the legend of the Berserker armor. But, damn you. Anyway, and I do not know the real truth. And then we have the flashback to a few episodes ago, or what was from a few episodes ago with the Dragon Warrior going, as a warrior of the Band of the Hawk, I call upon the Black Swordsman in single combat. And then everything is there up until, you know, after Sharik ran away and shit like that, and Isidora was being a prick, and Guts says, but we, this part was skipped, but we can't have dinner, but we can't have her dinner getting cold, but we can't have dinner getting cold, bring her back. And Evil Air says, and this part was skipped, and this was near the end of the chapter, I kind of don't like this place. People everywhere, so much odd. Everything around us is stone. It's so suffocating. I miss the forest. And then when we got to the chapter 45 portion, when we saw the spirit of the dead, or of the dead Kushans and shit, oh my god, that shit was creepy. Like, when I was watching that, the music and everything was so good. I was like thinking, I am watching an episode of Berserk right now. This feels like Berserk. And this part from the guard was skipped was, what's with that outfit, with the outfit girl? You're supposed to be a witch? And Sharik says, yes, I am. And Evil Air is supposed to go, and don't you mess with her. And something the guard says, and this is while, this was skipped, but most of the dialogue was there in this part, but a couple things were skipped. When the guard says, if it'll make money, they sell it, anything, to anyone. And they weren't criminals or nothing. I guess they were just unlucky, and that was talking about the Kushan slaves that were hanged. And then this part was skipped too, and, like, this is before Puck and Isidira run into Mule instead of the way that they did, which kind of bugged me. I was like, huh? But whatever. This part was good when Puck says, any luck? And Isidira says, nope, you? And Puck says, same here. The buildings keep me from searching from the sky, and I can't pick out Sharik's presence from all these people. And Isidira is supposed to say, I figured she'd stick out with how she looks. This many people, and nobody seems to care. And then Puck goes, I guess all we can do is wait for Sharik's telepathy. Telepathy? She doesn't respond when we call her anyway. And then we get to the end of the chapter with the ship. This part was skipped from Evil Era, which was, whoa, what's this? So big. It feels like it's going to squash us. And then we get to chapter 246 adaptation. Isidira was supposed to say to Mule, who are you? You came out of nowhere. If you want to ask something, don't do it from up on your high horse. And then Mule's supposed to come down. And Sharik was supposed to say, yes, we do. And the slave traders were saying, now come on back. It's the lash for you. Everything else was there in chapter 246. There wasn't a lot skipped. Compared to like chapter 244. That was very annoying that was skipped. Now we get to 247. And the slave traders were supposed to be like, sorry, but that ain't quite right. We're respectable traders. We're in the slave trade. We make our living buying and selling people. And Sonya is supposed to say, I knew it. You're no different than pirates. Oh, there was one other thing that I skipped from 246, which was when during Sonya's story, like, for the most part, it was really good. But this part was skipped, though, from Sonya. Well, now that we've gazed at the sea and broadened our minds, we've got to go back to where those we care about are, and those who care about us. There we go. And then Sharika's supposed to say, yes, we do. Sorry, I just wanted to fix that. Back to 247. The trader says, don't lump us in with them. We've got authorization from the government. And right now, Kushan are contraband in Vertanas, even as slaves. They get rounded up by officials and hanged. These parents got hanged as such, and now here they are. Looks like even this Vertanas lot couldn't stomach laying hands on children, but it ain't like they could be left in the city neither. So that's where we come in. They ain't no use as oarsmen in a galley ship, but hell, we'll probably get high prices for him in some colony town down south. It'll mean money in our pockets. God, you know what that means. I think we know what reference that is to. But anyway, then Isidira shows up, and this part was skipped. I was like, God damn it. Which was, I'm with Mushroom Girl over there. I can't see a bunch of pirates gathering up all these kids for some picnic at sea. Ah, what a disgrace. If you're pirates, you should be kidnapping girlies who are more like, boom zoom bomb. That's what they call a treasure chest pirate booty. That's why they call a treasure chest pirate booty. You guys are gross. Or you guys are just gross. And then Sonya's supposed to say he really is a monkey. And the slave trader is laughing. He's like, damn the math on this kid. Who cares what you think? And then Mule shows up. And Isidoro says, you're that guy from... You must have been following me. And Sharik says, do you know him? And Evalera says, don't tell me he's the hawk. And Sonya's like, nah, he's my watchdog. Let's see. The Duck Knight or something like that, I guess. I wish that was there. Like, don't mention the Duck Knight. It's like... And Isidoro says, is thinking I won't be scared. And then... 248. Okay, 248's adaptation was a hot mess because we didn't get to see the pirate captain like murder one of his crewmates, and all this dialogue was skipped. Was when the captain says, "We've come clean now. We've taken up a business that lets us look society in the eye. You lack character refinement, gents." And then Sonya says, "Go win and get promoted from domestic to wild duck." This is all the stuff I'm talking about is skipped. And the captain says, to Mule while he's fighting, have you any experience crossing swords on footing as unstable as this? The animation was there, but just that line wasn't there. And the captain says, is supposed to say this too, and God, I don't understand why he didn't, which is, you look like you're of noble birth. Maybe I can get a ransom from your relatives. With them graceful features, you'd probably fetch a fine price sold as a male prostitute to Kushan harem. And Isidoro said, still this, is thinking, still this guy, after Isidoro comes in to save the day, and he's like thinking, still, this guy is good for only having one leg. And this part was skipped, like right before the pirate's supposed to, use the sword in his leg against Isidoro. This is what he was supposed to say was, hold, it still needs work, but your fighting style, you'd make a fine pirate, so care to work for me? I'll train you personally. And then Isidoro is supposed to say, shove it up your ass. What happened to coming clean? And Captain says, you're right. We sure have. Guess that's an old habit of mine, but, well, this is how adults do things, lad. You're you're terribly lively enough, but for your swordsplay, that's of an experienced whelp. And that was like old habit of mine. That's when the sword was supposed to come out from his fake leg. And then Sonny said, "Oh, so close. The wild duck will just have to wait." Like, some of the comedy was just drained from this episode. It was annoying as fuck. And Evil says, "Just a useless little kid after all. Now go show him how it's done." And Sharik is thinking, as I suspected, I'll have to. And Sonya stops her, and she says, "No, wait. Yeah, looks like we're gonna be okay." And here's the thing that bothered me. So instead of the night that we're supposed to get to save the day, this lazy ass night that comes out of nowhere, I'm not gonna read his dialogue because fuck it, it's good. It's just annoying as hell that it's skipped. What happens, and I don't mind it too much, is that we get the Puck Spark. I was like, yeah, Puck Spark, it's Puck time. But anyway, and now let's get to chapter 249, which is the final chapter that was adapted. Which was, and this part was skipped from Sonya, which kind of bothered me. Was there are all sorts of where we're from: nobles, commoners, wanderers, serfs, merchants, even Kushan, a melting pot of humans living together. Also some, even some who aren't human. I mean, there are quarrels at times, but no one judges anyone or drives them out of their birth or personal history like in this city. And Puck is supposed to be like, "Hey man, don't look away at my Joe." Like they didn't show this part of the fight, even though for the most part the fight between Mule and Isidoro was there. Just this part wasn't, and that bothered me. And Mule says, you get distracted in the middle of a fight? It was the same way earlier. You feared to be the one to take your enemy's life when his sword was drawn. That's arrogance. Battle's not so generous that you can help your friend's predicament that way. You're not qualified to be a swordsman. And Isidoro was supposed to say, is that what you say when I saved you? And Mule said, I saved you first. And then the rest of it was really, really good. And then there was one other part that was skipped, was this part here. Or a couple parts. Obviously, the night in the bar, that was skipped. And I'll say his stuff in a little bit. Which was Mule, says, again, this isn't goodbye? And Sonya says, the young owl and young kite are sure to meet again. And then we get to the next scene in the bar. And, okay, I gotta mention this. Where was this animation all season? The animation in this last scene in the bar was so good. I was like thinking, this is Berserk. This is what Berserk was supposed to look like. Like, what the fuck? Like, have we learned lessons here? Can we not have CGI, and can we have this animation, please? Like, I want to know what you Nerdigans thought about that too. But Isidoro was supposed to say, and so I totally almost had him on his knees, staggering around in that heavy armor of his. And again, that's why it was skipped, was because that knight wasn't there. And Puck says, as you cry while you eat, one more hit, no mistake, he'd have been fish bait. He was lucky getting bailed out by a girl. And, again, this part was skipped by the knight because he wasn't in it at all. Was, ooh, fighting on an empty stomach, a knight must eat. Ooh, what's this? Or, Lord, I do thank thee. But something I liked, and for a season finale, this was really good, was I really liked the Skull Knight's monologue / narration at the end. I thought that part was really good, and that was a good way to end the season. What did I think of Berserk overall is the next question here. Berserk was mixed for me because there were episodes of Berserk where I was like, oh my god, this is Berserk. This is what it's supposed to be. And then there were episodes like this one and last week where I was like, oh, this isn't, what the fuck, you're cutting out characters now? Like, but what I think would have been better for this season, and you could have still had the Skull Knight's narration at the end of last episode, as well. And it would have been a really good episode too, which was the Kushin battle that we saw in the manga. It was before all the Berserker legend stuff and going to the sea. If that episode would have been this week and last week we would have gotten the Kushin episode, I think that would have saved this season for me, because a lot of stuff was cut and I really felt like that this episode shouldn't have been here. In all reality, this episode should not have been here. Last week would have been a way better episode to do a season finale on, and still have the Kushin, the Kushin War and stuff going on. Because the reason why I'm bringing it up, or you know what, I'm not gonna mention that. What was the thing I was thinking of? But like, this season was, I will say this, it was definitely better than last season of Berserk. Last season of Berserk was just bad. It was bad, but this season was a lot better. But it could have been, like, as I said, if it would have ended last week, seeing that the Berserker armor was probably the best part of this season. Seeing the Berserker armor was fucking bomb. I love the Berserker armor. It was so good, and I'm curious what your favorite part of the season was. For me, it was the Berserker armor. But this anime started off so promising with episode 1. Episode 1 of this season was so goddamn good, and that shows you episode 1 shows you, and I would say episode 9 as well, showed you that it can do a good adaptation of Berserk. But I just don't know. I got a feeling it's all on the writer side of things. The writers really screwed the pooch. They really did. But I'm curious what you Nerdigans think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. if you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to the Nerdigans Inc. expansion. There's a few ways you can do that. You can donate to the Nerdigans Inc. PayPal, Patreon, or purchase something off the Nerdigans Inc. Amazon wishlist. All those links are in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on the Twits, aka Twitter. Follow my Twitch channel. Find me on PlayStation Network. All that's in the description box below as well. Until next time, Nerdigans, I'll be seeing you later. Bye!